this road with my head held high. Nothing's ever gonna break a spirit that won't die. And through the dust and pain, I find a way to shine. Living wild and free, this renegade is mine. I am a renegade, and I'm never gonna fade. I am a renegade, hear the freedom that I make. Chasing dreams with my heart, tearing worlds apart. I am a renegade, and I'm never gonna fade.
It's the Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show, Saturday and Sunday, May 3rd and 4th at the Alara Center in Grand Forks, and they're looking for sponsors and vendors. This is a great opportunity to get your business noticed by thousands of people for this 2 long days of this awesome event. If you'd like to get your business noticed, or if you'd like a booth, contact Sarah, 763-568-1946, or Dennis at 701-741-5205. There'll be a raffle with over $90,000 worth of prizes, including a Polaris 1000 North Star Ultimate Crew Cab Ranger, a Harley-Davidson Street Glide, and Polaris Sportsman 570, with the net proceeds benefiting the Veterans Honor Flight of North Dakota, Minnesota. And veterans are absolutely free. Find out more by going to rrvmnd.org. Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show, Saturday and Sunday, May 3rd and 4th at the Alara Center in Grand Forks. Winter in the Northland means no golf, right? Wrong. Looking to get in around a golf in a climate-controlled winter oasis? Want to just whack some balls at the virtual driving range and work on your swing? Check out Albatross Indoor Golf Club in Grand Forks with more than 90 courses, range venues, and games including Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, TPC Sawgrass, and more. All on an incredibly accurate optical-based simulators from driving to putting. Play straight up, team up for a scramble, play tournaments, or join the 2-person Scramble League. It's fun for everyone, and all ages are welcome too. Call or text 701-757-3220 to set up a tee time. Check out Albatross Indoor Golf Club at the Columbia Mall, your home for the best indoor golf experience around.
Come that lightning dark in my DeLorean's roar. 88 miles, time waves crashing on shore. You don't know what you got in the time stream flow. You don't know what you got till the past is a go. You don't know what you got till you're out of that door. Oh baby, 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 push that pedal once more. You up the flux, ain't no turning back. We're on the edge of time in a lightning track. Guitar riffs and engine screams, roads where we're going, we don't need no dreams. We got the power of love, it's heavy as can be. A photo in my pocket, fading family. Spark of the sky as we tear through the night. History's page about to rewrite. This DeLorean's more than a machine. It's our ride through the fabric of space and the bends of time. Behind the wheel, it's a wild kind of deal with the clock ticking down. Gotta keep it real. Got my puffy vest, my kicks so clean. Marty McFly, part of Doc's wild scheme. Glory to the future, leave dust in the rear. Biff can't touch us, we're shifting gear. You don't know what you got in this time jumping dance. You don't know what you got till you take that chance. Out there on the edge of science and time, got this crazy doc saying the future's all mine. 88's the number, lightning's the game, revving up the scream. Shades on tight, we're living out this dream. It's a Midwest riff, time's a heavy load, but this guitar's fueling every road. Strap in tight, we're on this wild ride. Flames on track, no need to hide. From the dash, the digits gleam. Gotta hit the speed for that temporal beat. Steel and wires hold the future dock scene. Spark and rubber and plutonium dreams. The clock's ticking fast, but we're fast as step. Warping through decades on pure thrill. Oh yeah!
Well. How's it going?
Well,
Tell me a story.
yeah, I don't think there's any stories I want to tell that I can say on social media right now. So,
Oh, something dramatic happening in your life? Oh, those are the best stories, dude.
yeah, sometimes, not when they, not when they involve other people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just,
Something serious going on? Do we do?
not too serious. No, I just got a lot going on and found out that there's not a whole lot I can do about it. You know, one of those deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry
Yeah.
sorry for you, or sorry for your loss. We'll say, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's okay. We don't have to go into it. If it's something that's personal, that's okay. We won't talk about that. Well, anyway, it's good to see you. Next week we'll be back. I'm still planning on going to Grand Forks next week to do the live show. I'll let you know if I'm able to pick you up or not, because I might have another passenger with us, so I'll take up most of the room in my car. So you might just either have to find your own ride or just do it live from your house or Richard's house or whatever.
Do I finally get to meet her?
I might. I mean, if I introduce you to her and you remember her from a meeting, from a past meeting, like right now you have no idea who she is. But if I introduce you, you might freak out. You know, I don't want you to freak out. I don't want us to have any bad juju. You know.
Why would I freak out?
I know you. If you figure out something, if you're figuring out clues, because you're an investigator too sometimes, and so sometimes you like to investigate. I don't want and I don't want to bring that up, here on the show, because we're going to be having all these guests coming in here pretty soon. Because today we're talking about the movie Don't Say It, and you watched it. I watched it. You enjoyed? It was pretty good.
I did. I actually did. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really a rom-com kind of person. I'm more into horror and thrillers and stuff like that.
Sure.
Zombie movies, vampire movies, jump scare movies, stuff like that. But even superhero movies. Because usually rom-coms, they make me feel feelings I don't like to feel very often. And this one did. It did.
Well, I figured that you'd enjoy the humor in it more or less than anything else.
I did enjoy the comedy. Rom-com is a romance comedy. I enjoy both parts of it equally because just there were a couple of parts in there that actually had me teared up there towards the end.
Well, put it this way: this movie.
And it takes a lot for me to cry for a movie. I mean,
yeah. Well, put it this way: when I watched it, I felt like it was very similar to how I met my girlfriend. Kind of the same way, in a way, kind of weird situation, kind of like that.
Does it feel weird for you saying girlfriend?
Why? Do you think I'd be saying boyfriend?
No. Just haven't said that word for a long time.
Yeah, I know. Well, what's going on, Rich? You want to unmute your mic there? Or maybe I can do it here for you. See if I can. Oh, you got to unmute yourself there.
I got it.
Here's the man himself.
One of the stars, right? One of the main stars of this wonderful movie that we all enjoyed.
Oh, thanks, man. We had a little Victoria just texted me, is apologizing profusely. She just got 2 last-second auditions that she has to tend to, so she will be here in spirit, but the rest of the gang should be here.
All right. I was kind of getting stuff ready about 2:00 or whatever, and your director, Steven, stopped by. And he got the time wrong or whatever because he's in England, I guess.
Yeah. He would have gotten it wrong in LA too. Sorry.
But he said he'll be here. He just missed the time because I didn't know he was coming from England and all that. But it's like, all right.
Yeah, man, England, and I believe Jalen Bishop is who plays Aubrey, who plays the guy that plays my brothers, Joe Pacheco, his wife in the movie. She's jumping on, and she's like a working stand-up comedian. So she's in New York right now. So I believe she's jumping on from New York. So yeah, you got us all over, man. Yeah, you got us all over.
I'm guessing this is not the first time you've done this for the movie, or is it something that
No, we've gotten some press for sure, but it's not been like a whole let's see how many people we can get kind of thing. The only time we've really done that was like at the film festivals, like they bring everybody down and have a Q&A and stuff. But no, virtually you're our first with this many people. Usually it's either just me, or it's me and Vicky, or it's maybe me and Stuart Fratkin, so that kind of thing,
Well, a few months ago when I was there was an agent that I work with named Stephen Joyner, and he was trying to hook me up with Stuart originally because I remember him from Teen Wolf 2 and all that stuff, and a bunch of other things. And he was talking about the movie and talking about how it's coming out in January and all that stuff, and he was supposed to be on at the end of January, but something came up and he wasn't able to do it. So I'm hoping that if he shows up today, that'll make up for that because he RSVP'd. He's one of the people that said he will be on the show. So I'm a huge fan of the Teen Wolf series, man. I tell you, that those are underrated films as far as I'm concerned.
Wow, yeah. they certainly don't make them anymore.
No, well, they tried, but the way they did it when they tried to remake it, it wasn't like how it should have been. It should have been more professional. It should have been a better setting. Yeah. Not a fan of the remake.
Yeah. I mean, well, my theory behind remakes is that if it was kind of like a mediocre film that was really just well remembered, and the fact, it's more of a cult classic instead of a great film, you might be able to get away with a cool remake. Case in point is Ocean's 11, right? Sinatra, the Rat Pack, right? Really, although those people were amazing, it was kind of just like a mediocre movie. So when Clooney and Pitt did it, it was really kind of kick ass, But you get something that was like brilliant then, and you remake it now. Those tend to tank, and that seems to be the pattern I've noticed.
I was talking to Brian Levant here a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying how he still hasn't seen Jingle All the Way 2 yet.
Well, I refuse. I'm an avid fan of the original film Arthur with Dudley Moore, and not that I have anything against Russell Brand as an actor or anything. I thought he was really good in Get Me to the Greek and Sarah Marshall, but I'm just such an avid fan of the film Arthur. I refuse to watch that version of the movie. I just completely boycotted it. If it happens to be on my scrolling, I immediately shut it off. I won't watch it. I just refuse.
Oh, here we go. We got Spencer over here.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Spencer?
How you doing? How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Good to have you on. That's just a surprise too, because I know your work. I've seen you before on some stuff.
Cool. Glad to be here.
Oh, that's awesome. And how's it going, Maria? Good to see you too.
Oh, you can see me? Okay, good.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm on my lunch break. Hi.
Well, we're excited to have you guys on here. This is a big deal just because of the fact that we're big fans of independent film. Normally I have more crew members on, but we're taking a little bit of a spring break for our podcast. But we'll be back next week. But I did invite one of my crew members, Mama T. I sent her the film earlier last week, and she watched it. And she has a good review for you guys.
All right, we can take all we can get.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Spencer, your camera is a little wacky, so I don't know if it's just your connection or whatever.
It might be connection. I actually just got a new router in the mail this morning, so I'll set that up in a few minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On my end, I see him fine. It's just his mic is a little wonky for me.
I think it's just his well, the camera's good. I can see him too, but I think it's just the quality of the connection. Because it's like we're making a remix of rap or something.
Damn you, Spectrum cable.
Yeah.
It's so expensive too.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. That's why I have 2 jobs.
Oh yeah, of course. You gotta get a loan from the bank to get internet, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna take the banner down here so it doesn't freeze up. I see here. I want to have a good enough connection with everybody. Well, we'll probably just get started as more people just come along. We'll just kind of just introduce them separately, I guess, or when they come in.
Cool.
Is my sound okay with my AC on? Is that all right? Can you guys hear me?
I don't hear no AC at all, so it sounds okay. Very whisper quiet, probably, huh? All right. Well, welcome to Renegade Radio, or this exclusive edition of Renegade Radio. I'm the host, Frankie Slauson, and I've been doing this show for a little while, since August of 2023. But we've been doing this. We're on our 4th season. We're currently on a spring break right now, but I like to do some exclusive interviews from time to time, just to keep myself relevant and continue to have that great ego that I have, even though I don't have an ego. But anyway, I just like doing interviews, and that's the thing that we do on our show. We interview celebrities, from all walks of life. And when I heard about your movie coming out and the people who were involved, I said I have to somehow figure out a way to get you guys interested in coming on the podcast and sharing your stories and stuff. And so I'm glad that all you guys have been able to show up and represent your film, because it is a truly work of art, and it needs as much attention as it possibly can get. So I hope
thank you.
Do you justice today.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Hello, Stephen. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Hey.
At the right time here. All right, so I'm going to introduce Mama T. She's going to give her own introduction, and then we'll go around the room around Robin style. You guys can we'll pick each other out, and you can introduce yourselves, tell a little bit about your backstory. So, Mama T, go ahead.
Well, I started podcasting with Frankie here back towards the beginning of Renegade Radio, and got into the podcasting, and then decided to do my own podcast because I'm really into music, and I was dating a blues musician. So that's what's up with this. This is from my podcast. I was writing a newsletter and all kinds of stuff, but my podcast is like mostly just musicians and music personalities. But as much as I love pop culture, and I was like, well, I guess I can do both since they're on different days.
All right, welcome, Stuart. It's good to.
Hi there.
Good. I'm glad that you were able to. Oh, we're just getting started, getting the ball rolling. We're starting with introductions and letting everybody introduce themselves separately. So since you're the latest one to come in the room, I'll let you go first, Stuart. Want to introduce yourself to the room and everything? Tell a little bit about your background.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stuart Fratkin. I play the newscaster and Don't Say It. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You like my background? I just created that?
That's nice.
I created that.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
My background?
Yeah.
Showbiz-wise or life-wise?
I'll mix.
Okay. Well, showbiz-wise, I started when I was a young lad in showbiz. Co-starred in Teen Wolf 2. Had my own TV series in the late 90s. Got brought on board here a few years ago by my buddy Rich, who I knew through his restaurant, and we also were in the same movie together. We were both in Godzilla together. And a mutual friend introduced us, and then a few years ago, he showed me this script that I thought was really good, very well written, a lot of fun. And I can go into more detail of that. It's a funny story, but that's kind of it. It's kind of me.
Okay. All right. Next, we'll go with PJ. And you can turn your mic on there, PJ. You got your mic muted. There
Hey,
you go. How's it going?
good. How you doing?
Oh, we're just happy to have you on here. We're excited about to talk about you guys' movie, and we're doing introductions right now, so you can introduce yourself and talk about a little bit about your background.
So my name is PJ Marino. I was born and raised in Boston, in the North End, which is like Little Italy, basically. So I had the best childhood ever, better than all your childhoods. No, I'm just kidding. I, grew up around a lot of funny people. So I kind of somehow ended up on stage doing stand-up in the early to mid 90s. And from there, I ended up doing like a commercial in Boston and a play. And then I just fell in love with acting. So I came to LA to give it a shot, stupidly. And then I got a bunch of jobs like early on. So I had to basically stay here because I'm stuck because all I can do is act and bartend. So I just been acting in LA for the last 25, 27 years, and I love it. And I just want to keep working and creating projects. That's it. I love sports, and I'm a sports guy and big Boston sports guy, and that's about it. I'm not that profound.
Well, in the movie, you definitely pull your weight. I tell you that much.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously. I mean, you even if you're not much of an actor or whatever, you do such a good job as a character. So
that was my nickname in college. PJ, not much of an actor, Marino.
Or PJ, not related to Dan Marino or whatever, right?
Yeah, I know that. Not the quarterback. Not the quarterback.
PJ, don't call me Dan Marino.
That's right. That's right.
We're all old if we're talking about Dan Marino. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate that, PJ.
Thanks, buddy.
Maria, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Maria Paris. And thanks, Rich, for putting me in the movie so I could display my award everywhere I go. Best supporting actress.
Why don't you make a necklace and put that around your neck?
I know. I should walk around with that. It's kind of a little top heavy. I already got enough there. But no, so thanks, Mama.
Zing.
So yeah, I hail from New York as well, raised in a big Italian family. Started out typecasted from the very beginning, professionally working as Maria Tomasino in a Murder Watch Mystery Dinner Theater show from Dreamland Productions for 8 years, and then doing the off-Broadway show Tony and Tina's Wedding, playing Tina Vitale. So my mother's very confused. I have too many wedding dresses, 2 actual divorces, many weddings. So yeah, I got into the biz and been typecasted the whole way through. But it's been really fun. I went from New York to North Carolina to Orlando to here. So like PJ, like you're saying, it's like, whew, made the jump to LA, been here 17 years, and just really excited to work with Rich. I met him, was it at the hospital or the memorial of our
I met you at one of the Goomba lunches before that. Yeah.
Frank Reedy brought us together.
What a choice. The hospital or the memorial. That's good.
Yeah. No.
Well, he wasn't doing well. He wasn't doing well, our mutual friend.
Carmine was a big Goomba. He was in the Godfather 2 and 3. But yeah, so but yeah, I got in touch with Rich and got to be a part of a bunch of his table reads, and then I actually auditioned, and I was really excited to hear that Stephen and Rich liked me, and I got in, and now I'm his forever ex-wife.
So, just one of many.
Just one of many, yeah. She's my first fake ex-wife. Yeah.
I can make a really good. So,
you definitely were a good choice. That's for sure.
Thank you.
I mean, all you guys, you guys present yourself well. But I mean, that's what I love about independent film. I feel like that goes a long way more because people can really be into more characters. Really, like, I mean, you can do that even with a bigger movie too. But it's like when you do it on the independent screen, I feel like there's more passion, more love, and more effort put in, rather than know that you're gonna get a $50 million contract just because you can say a few words or whatever,
That doesn't suck too.
Wait a minute, we're not getting $50 million for this? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I thought we said that. Yeah. No.
Anyway, we got Spencer. We'll let Spencer Breslin tell us a little about yourself and your background, because you got a pretty big background, my friend.
I'm looking behind me. The background looks pretty average for the computer screen, but no. My name's Spencer Breslin. I'm here because I guess Rich and Stephen Wallett, so they had to put me in the. No, Rich and I, we share a great manager together, and the script, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it. I love this movie. It turned out great. My background, I'm from New York. I've been acting since I was a little kid. Started out doing commercials. Jumped into a bunch of Disney movies and Disney movies. And yeah, still plugging away at it, and been lucky to work with a lot of great people. And this was definitely a very fun movie with a very talented cast and crew, and I'm stoked to be here. Stoked to be here talking about it. So thanks for having me.
Well, we're honored to have you, and I'm flabbergasted because when Rich told me he was going to find some of you guys to be a part of this, I didn't know who he was going to get. So it's all a surprise to me, and because Spencer, I was reading that you are actually, or you have been working with a friend of mine who I used to watch on YouTube. I still watch him on YouTube here and there, but Mr. Sean C. Phillips. He and I go way back to like 2008, 2009, the early days of YouTube, when he would be showing his movie collection and stuff, and I also collect as well. So I'm really honored that you got to work with him. How was that experience?
Yeah, Sean's a great guy. Sean is a great guy. We've done a couple really fun horror movies together. Some really gross stuff. Like, he's got a pretty warped mind.
Oh yeah.
So, he's a little crazy with his taste. But yeah, no, it was I've had a really good time working with him. He's a great guy. I'm sure being friends with him, I've become very accustomed to, instead of texting with him, the classic Sean Phillips long audio messages that I get.
Well, what surprises me, and I don't mean to bring this off subject or whatever, off topic, but it's the fact that he has so many connections. Like, he knows a lot of people. Like, he's worked with Tom Arnold, for crying out loud, and I mean I think that's kind of a big deal. Yeah. So if any of you guys ever want to pursue more film work or whatever, work with Sean C. Phillips. I guarantee you will be, just like with Rich, you will be happy because he will work with you. He will give you the best of the best,
Yeah.
And that's not to spruce his ego either, but that's just, so we're honored to have you, Spencer. Thanks for being a part of this broadcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having
me. Weren't you? How do you go from the Cat in the Hat to horror?
Hey, just try to be a working actor. I gotta, can't limit yourself. Gotta do everything, right?
Hell yeah.
That's a heck of a range there, I tell you.
More flexible, the better.
Well, now we'll go with some of the bigger people in the group that have to do with the creative process, and that is one of them is the director, Stephen Ward. Stephen, tell the group about yourself and the audience a little bit about what you do.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How far do you want me to go back? I was a troubled child. Oh, no.
Just a little bit, a little, synopsis or whatever.
Yeah. No, I actually cut my teeth working in advertising. I was a creative director. I used to make TV commercials. Interestingly, back in the 80s, you could make a TV commercial for $2 million, and it's like, if we only had that money now. And that's where I kind of learned a lot about the business. I learned about working with actors and, when to give them notes and when not to. I wrote a movie in the 90s called Backbeat, which I was still working in advertising then. I didn't find out, and this is going to sound ridiculous, I didn't find out until a few years ago that it was nominated for 3 BAFTA awards and won 1, which is like the British Academy Awards.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how. Yeah, I was kind of detached after that. But so when Rich and I had a mutual friend who was a cinematographer who gave me this script, and I think the director they had before couldn't do it or wasn't available or something, and that was that's how I became involved. Thank God. It's a great script. I mean, it's fantastic. PJ and Rich, and I think there was
Jessica.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a terrific script, really good. And the best part about working on this is all these actors you see in front of you here are so fucking good. I mean, really, they were so well rehearsed that as a director, I kind of just said, sit there and talk. It was a bit like that. They were so good. They were really good. It was just the easiest thing for me. I don't feel like I can take a lot of credit for it because they were just brilliant. I mean, all of them. But it was enjoyable. It was highly paid, obviously. There was lunch one day. Yeah, we got lunch. But no, it was great. And it was, if I'm really honest, it was good for me because it got me back in the swing. I used to direct commercials and I've directed some short films, and it got me back in the swing of doing something a bit longer, which I really appreciate, and I'm very grateful to Rich for that. And it was enjoyable. It was fantastic. It was just great. We had a great editor as well, and I've since used him on another project. So it's kind of like, you work on these projects, you meet good people, and I would work with any one of these actors again tomorrow. Well, today. Well, no, I'm in England, so maybe next week. But yeah, it's
early Tuesday.
It was a great experience. The way, and I've got to say this, the way Rich put it together was pretty stunning, actually. I mean, when we talk about, that he got locations, he got great talent to work on it. He got, really good crew. I mean, especially locations. You're shooting in LA and it's impossible. It's just impossible to get locations and permits and bullshit and all that sort of thing. He did a fantastic job. I mean, I'd drag him on to produce a project of mine Tuesday morning I would.
Yeah.
That's me. That's me.
When the sequel comes out, they'll say it
Yeah.
part 2.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah, it's
sequel,
called,
the sequel
yeah,
is
the sequel's called I
again.
Told You Not to Fucking Say It. That's right.
Yeah. More aggressive version. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you, Stephen, and we're happy to give your movie as much love as possible. You, like I said, you guys deserve it. Richard or Rich?
Yeah, it's Rich, but unless you're my mom and you're mad at me, it's usually Rich. Well, Rich Grosso, if you haven't figured it out by now, one of 3 writers on the movie Don't Say It. One of the actors on the movie Don't Say It, and the producer on Don't Say It. And I mean, I love being showered with all this stuff, but it's like the reality is that you're only as good as your team, and I'm just really blessed that I knew all of these people, and that I'm the fortunate one that that they wanted to be a part of this, like, and from the early on too, because the first guy I went to, because I am really not a screenwriter, or at least I don't fancy myself a screenwriter, and I tried to get PJ just to write it for me, and he was like, "No, man, I'm not doing that." And then I went to Jessica Abrams, and she goes, "No, man, I'm not doing that." But they were both kind enough. It was during COVID. They were all kind enough to say, "Buy some software," and then I remember PJ made fun of me for not buying what's the one writer Final Draft Pro. Well, you're from Boston. I bought something called Celtic. I figured you'd like it, but it was a piece of crap software. But I wrote it on that. It was a pain in the ass because then when we got closer, we had to keep transferring it over. But anyway, but I wrote a bunch of drafts, and people like PJ and people like Jessica would give me notes, and then I guess I got it to the point where I needed to hear it out loud. And we had a reading, and that's PJ said, "Okay, it's good enough now for me to, want to kind of help you, polish this if you want." So PJ and I then started working together, and we did a few drafts together, and then same thing with Jessica. Jessica sat in on a couple of the table reads and said, "Okay, yeah, I'll help you." So basically, what I like to say is those guys really. It was a good script, but without those guys, it wouldn't have been a great script. So my hat's off to them. And when we had a great script, that all these other talented people that I'm blessed to have in my life, they wanted to sign up, and I don't think they would have done that had it been a 4 kids in the cabin $50,000 horror movie. I think everybody knew that we kind of just had something special. And that's why I think that I was blessed enough for them to want to come on board and help me with it. It was pretty effortless for me because I had so many great people around me lifting me up through the whole process in so many different areas and avenues. And about my background real quick, I started doing theater in New York. I could sing, so I did musical theater in New York. Came out to LA to be an actor, hit a lot of walls like a lot of actors, was creating my own content in the 90s when it was not fashionable to do so. Did short films and did I wrote a pilot, and I was the guy that said, "Hey, why don't we shoot this?" instead of just pitching it. And nobody was doing that in the 90s. Then I made a feature in the 90s for like $30,000. I saw Clerks that won Sundance, and I was naive enough to say, shit, I could do that. So I made a movie in the 90s that, didn't get to Sundance. It didn't get on an alternate list of one of 25 films that almost got to Sundance, but didn't get to Sundance. And it sat in a closet for 30 years unfinished. And again, over COVID, I got bored and we finished that movie. That movie came out in 23. It's called 9 Ball. So we did a movie in 95 that came out in 2023. You'll recognize me because I don't look like me and I had a 28-inch waist and I was cute. So I'm that guy in that movie. So the old fat guy in this one. What else?
Next to you, though, you look like about 20 pounds, 30 pounds lighter in that poster there.
Well, that's Photoshop. Like Steven, I did commercials for a while. but behind the scenes, like that's where I kind of cut my teeth, because at the same time I was making movies for not enough money and TV pilots for $3,000 instead of millions. I was also making $2 million commercials as like a production manager, production coordinator. So I got this vast knowledge of filmmaking. So when this one came along, I just pulled all my resources, and here we all are. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. And I like to hear stories like that, because it's like, because even when things probably were different back in the day, with today's technology, I mean, man, we got it made now with everything that you're able to do with creating things and stuff. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you look way better now. Use your phone instead, huh?
Yeah, no, the internet kicked me off, and so I was like, I'm going to go to the phone. Yeah.
Oh, that's way better. And I have a mini LED TV screen that I'm using, so all you guys look really good in 4K. So that's the way to do it. So I'm gonna let Mama T ask the first question, because she watched the movie just this past weekend, so she had a pretty good review, and I wanted her to share her review of what she personally thought. And it's all good, but Mama T is, she's kind of like, she's not gonna bullshit you. She's one of those straight to the point type of people. So.
Because we would prefer being lied to, actually, but okay.
That's bad. Came to the wrong show for that.
Because we're hearing her review for the first time.
Yeah. So, Mama T, tell the gang a little bit about what you thought.
When Frankie sent me this, I was like, well, what kind of movie is it? And he's, oh, well, it's kind of a romantic comedy. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. A chick flick, huh? I'm not into chick flicks. I'm just, I don't like crying during movies, and the good ones make you cry. And I cried like a baby.
Well,
the phone call from the daughter, and I'm kind of firing you. I was just
Mama T, explain why why you get emotional like that, because about a recent event, but what happened last year.
Because what?
Well, because recent events and what happened last year, we all kind of suffered a big loss. Well, a friend of mine, which was somebody that she was dating, passed away last year, and that we were all very close to, and it's still kind of I mean, as the time moves on, you learn to deal with it, but like it's still kind of hard to believe that person's gone, because we were not prepared for that whatsoever. But so I figure, why don't we just have her watch a rom-com, make her cry and everything, right?
I haven't cried in a while. Thanks a lot, guys.
We were getting some feedback. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, whoever has their, everybody have audio, because I can hear myself too a little bit.
I don't know. I'm in my headset, so I don't know.
Spencer.
I just muted myself.
Spencer, if you put yourself on mute, does it? I don't know if it's that phone.
Let's see. That's 1, 2, 3.
Spencer.
It stopped. I'm sorry.
Well,
Spencer.
Steven muted himself too. Well, and now we can't tell everybody's muted. No, I really did enjoy it. I like I said, I stay away from rom-coms just because they're just not my genre. I like horrors and thrillers and jump scares, and then I was like, okay, I'll watch it, and I had no problem sitting through it. Like I was like thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be bored out of my mind. It's got a great storyline. It's a great writing. I mean, but Rich, where do I know you from? I mean, but I know I've seen you on something, and I can't think of what it is.
I don't know. You check my IMDb. I got a few credits on there. I don't know. One of those TV shows, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Could be the Italian in there.
I was on Young Sheldon. Sheldon.
That must be where I know you from, because I didn't recognize anything else on there.
Because I mean, but if you blink, you'll miss me in Young Sheldon. Yeah. like a lot of my roles. Yeah. There's a rule of thumb that the more I get to speak on camera, the less I get paid. So like I got a boatload of money for Young Sheldon because I barely got to speak. So.
and I just love this whole newscaster in her background all the time talking to her. I mean that is just so inventive, imaginative. I don't know how to say it, but I mean, I wouldn't.
So
that was
we
really
could
good. That was a really good thing.
We could ask Stuart the first question then about the film. Whose idea was it to come up with that idea for the newscaster? That is a unique idea.
I think it was PJ's. I think PJ.
I think Rich, did you have it, but not
it was
much?
That was in the very first draft. I've always had the
It was definitely there, but
yeah.
I say, yeah. One of us said, "Let's do more of this." Was it you or me? I don't remember.
I think what we did was no, the newscaster was constant in every draft from draft one. What PJ and I came up with was if Lara has somebody in her mind, Pat needs one too, and that's how we got Maria's character. So PJ and I, it was PJ and I that was the catalyst for Maria's character, the ex-wife. She was not in original drafts, and she was written anyway. As she was written in the original drafts, she was like she was not in. There was no ex-wife in subsequent drafts. Well, that's not true either. But we figured out though that she had to be more prevalent. If Laura's character had her shitty committee, Pat needed his. Yeah. So that was
Oh, that's crazy.
Is there a real recipe to this chicken? I got to try this chicken.
Well, it was always meant to be like there's 4 different chickens. Like there was piccata, Milanese, Marsala, Parmesan, and you pick one of the chickens. But yeah, that was all based because I got out of the show business for about 15 years because I couldn't raise my family. We had like a house in foreclosure. I was starving to death. My selfish newborn baby didn't want to be homeless. That bitch. Anyway, yeah. So I quit show business altogether and opened up what was known as kind of a fairly successful Italian restaurant. I actually had a pretty successful restaurant for about 15 years, which is actually how Stuart and I met. We didn't actually meet through show business. We found out we were both in Godzilla when he was a customer at my restaurant.
Awesome.
What?
I said that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but basically, yeah. So that was so the chicken. There is no one chicken recipe, and they were all just it was just an idea I had. I drew them from my life. I'm a decent Italian chef, and I made up the whole part about they were my mom's recipes. That was all bullshit, but they were pretty much mine. And actually, we had such a low budget. Like the first 4 or 5 days of the shoot, I actually cooked for the crew. I made all the different chickens every day. Every day they got a new chicken. Like the first 4 or 5 days of the shoot.
So, that's awesome.
So y'all got fed very well. That's very important because catering in a film reel is very important. That's for sure.
I got cheated because I got cheated. I only worked one day, and it was when the film was already done. Was completely done. It was already produced. There was already a cut, and then I came in and did my part. And all of the people that are here on this call, except for Rich, weren't there.
Okay.
So I got a cup of water and a green screen. That's what
I had bagels.
The chicken's in the mail, Stuart.
We had Christmas decorations.
Don't worry, Stuart. I'm allergic to milk and soy, so I couldn't eat any of the food that Rich made.
Oh no!
I had to bring my.
She used to brown bag, and she used to bring her lunch to the set every day. Yeah. And
so my question is, and anybody whoever wants to answer, so maybe we'll just let everybody answer that one at a time. What do you want people to take from this movie? For those that either have seen it or haven't seen it, what do you want? What's the message that you're trying to present? And maybe Rich or Stuart or Steven, Maybe Steve. We'll let Steven answer this one.
It's just, don't give up on love when you get to a certain age. It's tougher out there, but it's out there. Don't give up. Which is, it's a personal story for me, says the single guy who's all lonely tonight.
Yeah.
I get
I don't know. For me, it's from an artistic side, I to mirror what Steven said, but I think it's more than just love. It's whatever your love is, whatever your passion is. It might not be a relationship. It might be just something that you're passionate about. Like, the song "You're Never Too Old to Rock and Roll." It's like, so whatever that is. In this case, it was, I guess, it was relationship, it was connection for these two characters, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be anything, just whatever you're passionate about. It's never too old for life to come around. And, so that, and from a personal standpoint, I'd love everybody to just see and experience this film that's humanly possible. And I hope they enjoy what everybody put into it. And as an actor and a filmmaker, I hope I get a chance to maybe make another movie or two as either a writer, producer, director, or an actor. And I would love to just, I'm getting old now, and it's getting tough to do the side hustle. I would love to land like some 10th banana on some TV show for a few seasons, and some really cool ensemble where I did, and I'm making 20, 30,000 a week for a couple of seasons. I would love that to happen. So that'd be great.
Oh my God, you're hysterical, man. Yeah, I'm looking to just be I just want to be the 6th or 7th banana. And I'll settle for 5 or 6 seasons. Maybe I'll be the 12th banana. Rich,
I'll be whatever banana they want me to be, baby.
You were putting that out into the universe, and asking to be on a TV show for a couple of seasons. That's all you want. That's all you're looking for.
Yeah, baby. And get to do more movies. I'd like to do more films. I'm reading PJ's new script right now. You never know. We might do that one. We'll see.
This is a very non-threatening, fun, sweet stroll through the park on a Friday night, on a Saturday night. Regardless of the plot itself, it's a fun little movie that is funny, it's heartfelt, it's sweet. Clearly, Mama T, it's touching, and you'll probably shed a tear or two, but you'll enjoy it. That's kind of how we've described it in the past, Rich and I, when we've had other interviews as well.
Yeah.
Now, there aren't enough of these, so we need to put one out there. We need to put some fun
and
out
it's
there.
fun. It's fun, and you laugh a lot, and it has the ups and downs, but it's not all drama. And I swear, even this past week, just trying to find something to watch that was uplifting this week, I was like, I might as just watch my own dang movie. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I've already seen it 4 times, but I might as well watch it again. I would like to have a good ride and laugh and just be happy, because I just feel like everything is so hopeless. And this movie really, there's so many, Rich and I, when we had our scene at the end, it was so easy to work with him, and it was so easy to just get wrapped into relationships, like whether it's parenting or just friends, or just that whole movie speaks of fun and love and just supporting each other no matter what. And like you said, loving, doing the things that you love to do, and not being afraid to do them or being judged for them. Do them because you love them. And I think Victoria's part, with the painting, it's just go and do the things that make you happy. Because when you lean towards joy, you will be led, as they say.
And as of today, there are no tariffs currently attached to watching the movie. So
there you go.
Today,
it's an American-made movie.
It might change next week when some additional tariffs will be raised. But right now, it's only $4.
Yeah.
So my next question, since he's here, Spencer, I have a question for you, and maybe even Stuart as well. now you guys, got to experience, a lot of the big time Hollywood stuff, and then going from Hollywood now to doing independent films. What is some of the biggest differences when it comes to a big action or big production film compared to a more smaller piece?
I think the one thing that I've noticed that's pretty cool, because I've done a lot of like really small independent stuff over the past 5, 6, 7 years, and the thing that's cool about working on the smaller stuff is you're just always busy from the time you get there until the time you leave. There's not like a lot of downtime because you're constantly, we have this location for an hour. We have to get this by, we're chasing the daylight. We don't have another day here. And I think it kind of shows you, I mean, because it would be easy to joke and say, oh, the money's the big difference or this or that. But it honestly, the thing I've noticed is just on the big stuff, like how much time is just wasted. Like, oh, we're going to shoot this 2-page scene over the course of a week and a half. And it's like, oh, cool. We're cranking out like 18 pages today. And then, tomorrow we got another 19 and a half pages. And it just shows you like, kind of like how much fucking time gets wasted on some of the big stuff. And there's something really, I mean, it's stressful at times to kind of be chasing those pages that we're trying to make every day, but there's also something really cool, and you kind of capture an energy because everyone's like really in it, that kind of rapid fire thing. So yeah, I mean, that's the big thing I've noticed. It's there's some really great independent filmmakers out there who I've been lucky to work with who really know how to make a lot with very, very little. And you think like, what if they were given $50 million to make a movie? Like what the hell could they do? Because I'm seeing what they're doing with 50,000.
We'd make 5.
Well, do you feel like when you're doing these type of films, do you feel like you have more of a bond with your fellow actors more in a smaller piece, or do you also feel that in a bigger piece as well?
I don't know. I mean, I think it depends. I mean, I've had good bonds with people I've worked with on shoots for 6. I think that just depends on the group of people you get together. So that one's trickier to say, but just there's something kind of fun about the like total chaos of working on indie films where everyone's there because they want to be there. It's not because they're getting paid a great big bag of money. And we're all kind of in it with not the same amount of resources that other productions have, and it's there because we want to be there. It's not it's not just like, oh, I'm doing this for a payday.
Sure. Stuart, how about you? I mean, you were kind of a big supporting character, supporting actor in the 80s and stuff and early 90s with all those things that you've done. Are you still close with Jason Bateman, and you guys still talk about Teen Wolf 2 and the good old days and everything and blah, 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 because of, he's become a big major star with everything he's done. But I'm sure, back when you guys were working together, you weren't sure how things were ever going to go, but are you pretty close at all, or is that not the magic of Hollywood?
No. I mean, if you've read or seen anything that Jason Bateman has done, first of all, he's immensely talented. Clearly he has, he's come into his own the past 15 years. But if you've seen or heard anything that Jason has done on TV shows or anytime he's interviewed, he does not want to mention Teen Wolf 2 at all. However, it has become a great running joke on Jimmy Kimmel. Whenever he is on there, Jimmy Kimmel will always tease him about it. So today is like much different than it was for him. I think like 15 years ago when he was kind of muddling along, right? He had transitioned out of being a child actor into trying to be an adult actor.
Sure.
So I'm sure that when people reminded him of that role, it wasn't a warm, cozy feeling as it might be today when he's had more success with it. So I think that he he gets the kitschy vibe of that movie today. But I was going to say the differences. I was going to be snarky and say the differences between doing a larger film with a bigger budget and a smaller film with really no budget. The biggest difference is craft service sucks and there's no trailer. So, but other than that, the vibe on a smaller movie, it's clear that the people that are working on it are really doing it out of the love of the script and the people that are involved in it. They're really doing it because they love acting, they love the script, they're close to the people that are on it. And so this group of people, and I'm sorry that Vicky wasn't able to join us as well, have enjoyed some good times throughout the past 6 to 8 months at the festivals we've been at, and garnered some awards for, and very proud of this movie. Exactly. Thank you, Maria, for pointing that out. In the Studio City Film Festival Award. We swept. We swept the awards.
When the wildfires happened, this was one of the things that went into the luggage bag. Okay.
Mine are in my background. You can see them back there, right? You can see them up on the shelf there.
That's it.
And just so you know, I don't live with those posters in my room. I brought them out just for this. I don't. They're going to go away after the interview.
They're
I'm
often
showing
in
up
the
my
background.
sister's coasters in the background here that she made.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, what I was going to ask next, in the film, I mean, I don't know if Mama T knows this at all, but I definitely did. When you Rich were getting ready for like I don't know if you knew it was a date at the time yet or not, or you just like introduced yourself to Victoria's character or whatnot. There's a nice music that like a throwback, almost like with some hip hop music. It felt like I was watching a movie from the '90s, which is kind of the idea to kind of make it kind of.
That's because I'm old and all my shit looks like it's from the '90s. I think, well, interestingly enough, that's that little hip hop song we came upon on just a website that has music for film that you could rent or lease. There was another song in the mix. Steven's son is an accomplished musician, and he has like a new hit song out, and we initially asked if we could put it in the movie, and from an artistic standpoint, he just felt like it's not that he didn't want to do it. It's just that he didn't think it was right for the film, and probably what we have in there now, in retrospect, he was right. So we just came upon this little thing, this little song, and we leased it. We licensed it, and fortunate enough to be able to afford it. It's that little when we're getting ready to go out and it goes into payolas. I know the exact song you're talking about.
It's
just a catchy little tune. I thought, we thought, Stephen and I thought, and we put it in the movie.
It definitely made it definitely gave it that throwback, because I didn't think about it at first before I started hearing the song, and then I was just like, yeah, this kind of feels like it's kind of like an 80s or 90s like movie you see on HBO, like during like one of the HBO premieres or something like that.
Well, the whole movie's a throwback. Really, nobody's. Not that I would compare us to Nora Ephron, but nobody's making those films anymore, and I love those films. I love them, and you're right. The rom-coms nowadays are when they do make them, are pretty cookie cutter. Everybody's beautiful. And there's a bow on every one of them, and it's not in those ones in the '90s where As Good as It Gets, with Harry Met Sally, You Got Mail, It's Complicated, all those films. There's not necessarily a bow, and they're clever and they're witty and they're full of heart, and this was just really, this whole movie was really just an homage to that. I'm from a generation where we represent about 30% of the population, and they're not making films for us. So I took a shot. I was like, look, man, if I miss this film, and I represent 30% of the population, or my generation does, maybe somebody else out there will miss this film too. And so far we're getting some great response. The surprising thing was I used to joke early on that you are not going to dig this movie unless you're like from age 50 to dead. I used to joke about that all the time. And the reality is I'm getting a ton of younger people that are actually complimenting this film. And there's definitely people in this, everybody we thought was going to love this film loves this film, but people that I wasn't so sure about are really digging this movie. So that maybe could wake up Hollywood a little bit that, hey, you know what, if you make more films like this, people will watch them. People will go see them, so.
And that's one of the main things I really loved about this movie. I am 50. It was real. It was relatable. Like there's actual things in people's heads, and that was one of my favorite characters. Was his version of the ex-wife. Not I mean, Maria, you played them both so well.
Thank you.
Like at the end, I'm like, oh, she's actually a really nice person. She's not really mean and nasty. Like that had to be fun playing that part.
Oh, it was like when we first started practice, they were like, be meaner. But to run around on set in a pair of pink fluffy flippers and a muumuu. I mean, just priceless, just so much fun. And just the hair and the makeup and just, literally just, I loved when I literally almost had Steven do a spit take when I came out of the bathroom going, do you like this makeup better with the hair?
Smudged over. So my question kind of is for of all of the roles you have all played, which was your favorite to play and why?
Oh, you mean overall, like in our career?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, guys. I won't be mad. Kyle goes on.
We're going all over the place. That's what we do.
I'll jump in. I have something. So I've had so many that I've enjoyed just immensely. But I got to play a role on the HBO show Winning Time about the Lakers. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that was really special to me because I watched the first season of that show, and then I immediately emailed the casting director and said, I need to be part of this show because they were making the second season. Because I grew up in the 80s going to all the Celtics games. I was a huge NBA fan, so big Larry Bird fan. I love the Celtics-Lakers rivalry. So it was like, I was like, okay, they got to be going back to Boston for season 2. So I got to be part of the show. Because I was there for all that. Like I literally saw a lot of what happened. So I emailed the casting director. She ended up thankfully getting me an audition, and I played an LA sports writer. But I got to, in the scene, I got to like interview as a sports writer, Norm Nixon and Magic Johnson in the tunnel of the forum, of the Lakers forum. And for someone like me, the casting was so good in that show. I mean, I really felt like I was in the 80s talking to Magic Johnson, in the 80s talking to Norm Nixon, on the team plane, talking to the coach, who played by Jason Segel. So for me to play that role, I mean, I was just in my glory. It was just probably the most fun I've ever had. So that's the first one that came to mind for me.
And you were very good in it too.
Thank you. Yeah. So,
that's awesome.
And then it got canceled. but what a great show. Yeah. So that was my answer. But I look forward to hearing what you guys say.
Stuart, Spencer, you guys got to have something.
It's a pretty impossible question. I've had so much fun working on. I've been very blessed to have like a really great career with a lot of great roles. It's pretty tough to nail down anyone in particular. So I
can tell you my favorite Spencer is the kid. Is my favorite. Yeah.
I'll say this one and the next one I get hired for probably.
Always the next one.
There you go.
Chicken shit. You chicken shit.
Yeah, right. There we go. Yeah.
Frank, I'm going to have to jump off. It's 10 coming up to 10 p.m. here, and sadly, I've got another Zoom on a project I'm working on.
That's fine, Steven. I appreciate you having. We're almost done anyway. I'm not going to hold you guys too much longer, but I appreciate you, Steven. So if you got to go, that's understandable.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, and it's good to see It's good to see the gang again.
See you, Steven.
Take care, Steven. Hugging to
Nighty night.
Take care.
I was going to say one of the scenes that I also enjoyed was kind of the early beginning of the film when you're having the conversation with your psychiatrist or social worker or whatnot, going back and forth. That to me is like, wow, because that's like the first time I hear you swear. I thought, this movie's not going to have any swearing in it. It's going to be just like just like I originally thought. And then all of a sudden, here comes the swearing. It's like, all right, we're going full HBO on here.
That was brought up. That was brought up. Should we curse? And I go, well, it won't be real. I mean, a bunch of guys from Boston and Jersey, and that moved to LA, but they're all East Coast guys. They're not going to not curse. But you guys should finish the question. What favorite roles, Stuart? I'm curious to see because you had a long career, man. What's your favorite role, Stuart?
I don't know. I don't think I could really pinpoint it either, as Spencer said. I mean, it's I started when I was I was in my 20s playing. That time I was still playing high school and college and then young adult. So I think that if there are a couple. I think there's a couple that stand out. One that was so different for me was I guest starred on a show called Tour of Duty. Anybody remember?
Oh wow.
That?
Really?
To Vietnam, and it was a very highly produced show. It was very well done. Terrence Knox, Stephen McCaffrey was in it, and it was shot in Hawaii. But for me at the time, it was a very different role for me to play. It was dramatic, and most of the stuff I had done up to that point was, the wacky best friend of the lead. So it was different for me, and it kind of helped me veer my career into a different direction, a little bit more mature. So that one kind of stands out. And then I was on a TV show called They Came from Outer Space with an actor named Dean Cameron from Summer School fame, and that was definitely a standout as well. I was got to be very creative and improvise quite a bit on that show. Every day on the set was just it was a blessing. It was a lot of great fun, and I got to work with a very talented actor who I had looked up to for many years prior to getting into being a professional actor, which was Dean. So yeah, those were the things that stand out in my mind.
I was hoping you were going to say that one. I used to watch that.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I told you I'm 50.
Yeah, it didn't get a wide. It didn't. It was on. It was back. I was lucky. So when they announced the formation of a fourth network, which was called Fox Broadcasting, FBC.
Sure.
At the time, I was on a TV show that was one of the premier shows, along with Married with Children, and then eventually The Simpsons. I was on a TV show called Beans Baxter, and that was on. And then I was part of the fifth network, which was called the Hollywood Premiere Network. And so they had 3 shows they produced, and I was on one of them. But they only showed them in LA and on the East Coast. Philadelphia, New York, and then I think eventually New Mexico. That was the Outer Space show.
I have like a hard out in about 5 minutes, but Maria didn't go yet.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is like
I loved you as Ava. I loved you. I mean, that's what
I was about to say. I was like, there were so many things like I've done, like the Tina Vitale, the Maria Tomasino. Like when I first started, were just like really fun Italian roles. But I was actually cast as Nancy Barbados Sinatra, Frank Sinatra's wife, in Frank and Ava. It's a movie that's out, another indie that won a bunch of awards and everything, and it was just amazing to study that part and come in and portray it. And the Sinatra family actually did see the movie. They were really surprised at how accurate the movie was. And Nancy Sr. did see my film, but unfortunately I never got to find out how she felt about it. And I'm like still waiting to hear if anyone knows, but it was just incredible to put yourself into somebody like that whose husband is so iconic. And actually, I think, Rich, that's actually you. A lot of people saw that film, saw my portrayal, because they've also seen my web series, The Rita Guida Show. And Rita Guida is a Brooklyn, badass who solves everything with a high heel shoe and a trunk. And she's a lot of fun to play. And I do a lot of character actor stuff, but to be able to be so grounded and play something so meaty like that was simply just like one of my favorite roles. But getting to play Jane and working in a situation where I get to play the character stuff, but then like you said, like you get to see me and you're like, oh my God, she's really nice. And just being so grounded, having that range in a movie. Most of the time supporting actresses don't really get that, that opportunity. And I'm just so grateful to all of you guys, BJ too. Like I never said thank you for writing that with Rich and Jessica. But yeah, I would say really those two roles really, really stick out in my mind. But yeah.
For me, I guess my short answer is Pat Leone, but this one. But the reality is, I played. It was in the theater that I played an icon. I did a world premiere of an original play about Lou Costello of Abbott and Costello fame, and I got to play Lou Costello on stage. In an original, but it was a serious play. It wasn't a comedy, but I had to. But it was funny because I had to do all the routines. I had to learn who's on first and all that stuff, and I had to portray, and that's where I met Spencer and I's current manager. I mean, this was at 1990. It was like 1992, 1993. Brandon saw me in that play and signed me, and we've been working together ever since, except for my 15-year hiatus from leaving show business. That was certainly the most challenging portrayal of where I really had to learn. It taught me that I could be a good actor. That play.
So I just want to say
this was worth it, Rich, because that spicy vodka sauce was delicious.
I want to try it.
I just want to say thank you to all you guys for participating. This has been a lot of fun. For anybody that wants to know how they can watch this movie, Rich or Maria,
we are streaming everywhere. You can rent or buy this film on Amazon Prime, on Apple TV, on Microsoft TV, on YouTube Movies, on Fandango at Home, on Google TV, on Google Movies, on Hoopla. A lot of your cable stations have it, Direct for Rent, Direct Dish. In Canada, our great friends in Canada, Rogers Infinity Streaming has it. And in May, you'll start seeing it on subscription platforms where, it might be like on the Hulus and the Netflix. We don't know yet. It's still being talked about. Certainly the Tubies of the world. And where you can watch it with commercials, that'll be happening as well. But right now, it's only for rent or purchase on those platforms that I just mentioned. So,
do you know if you'll ever get a physical copy out, like Blu-ray or DVD or anything? Or?
Those days that ship's probably sailed. I don't think it has anything to do with our film. It's just that I don't think anybody's doing it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think really anybody's making Blu-rays anymore.
Hey, Nazi Phillips or someone would buy it.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears, my friend.
Are they going to have distribution outside of America?
Yes, it's in the works. That's in the works. We have foreign sales agents who are
working on it,
trying to sell and license various territories all over the world. Yes.
Beautiful.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you, Mama T.
Is there somewhere to get this link, Frankie? So if I want to show it,
I will share it with Richard or with Rich, and he can share it with you guys because I'm sure half of you I'm not friends with on Facebook. So if you see us slots, and I'll add you guys, and we'll become friends. Might be chatting with you again someday.
Thank you, Frankie. We did it, Frankie.
Yes, I appreciate you, Stuart.
We did it, buddy.
We made it happen. Thanks so much for being here for us, Frankie. Thank you.
Problem.
Thanks, Mama.
Thanks, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Bye.